Hey, what's going on guys? Daniel from ModBot here, and like I mentioned in the last video, the reason why I was excited to have that second recording slash just workable desk area is because this is where I sit and work and edit, and as you can see there is just shit everywhere on the desk and on the ground, and I definitely have not had enough space to just have a dedicated working area. Like before I moved the first time, I had this massive V-desk, which was super nice because one of the sides would be like where I'd actually type and work, and the other side was just my kind of workshop, workable area, which I haven't had. So this will be really, really nice to have that. So let's talk about the Ender 3. This guy up here, which I have made plenty of videos on before, it is a as most of you know, really entry-level, budget-friendly 3D printer from Creality. Roughly MSRP is somewhere around $200, give or take, depending on where you get it from and if it's on sale. Well, I've had mine since launch. I pre-ordered it before they were even available. I was definitely, I would say, one of the first couple hundred of people that ever received one. And the machine's been awesome for me. I got really kick-ass print quality out of it without any sort of modifications. I went ahead and quickly added a BlTouch flex plate to the machine, which was really, really convenient. I also ended up adding a BlTouch, which I made a tutorial series on, or video on, that a lot of you guys have gone on to use. And the machine was just awesome. For about 6 months straight, I just had that thing going. It was printing out orders on these little things I was selling online, and seriously, without a hiccup, that machine just performed. Well, fast forward, and we move into this apartment, and since moving in, I have gotten to do very little 3D printing because most of the printers I have are down in one way, shape, or form due to like a project that I started or something that broke on them that I needed to repair. Well, the Ender 3 was the one that was my workhorse that I was planning on using to print out parts for these other machines. And ever since moving, it has not been printing correctly. So I added the micro Swiss to it, right? So I made it an all metal hot end not too long ago, and I was able to get it to print on 1/2 of the build plate. And so I did do some pretty decent prints, but they had, a lot of them had a fair amount of bowing and curling because the leveling was just off. And also on top of that, the bed was just really, really wobbly. And I couldn't exactly figure out why. Before I had moved, I'd never seen any issues with it at all whatsoever. So after taking the frame apart, retightening the frame, trying to tighten the eccentric nuts on there on the bed to basically make it more rigid and less wobbly, I was able to get it at least closer to where I wanted it, but there was still some serious flex to it. So what I went ahead and did was I actually harvested or stole these 4 little V-slot wheels off of another 3D printer, off of the Zone Star one that's on the ground right here. Since that one was dual extrusion and I'm not really planning on using it very much, I'm probably going to actually convert it to a single extrusion machine because the frame's not bad, but that's a whole nother story. I took these off and figured, let's see if potentially it's something with these wheels. So I put the Zone Stars wheels on the Creality machine. These are the old Creality wheels, and like clockwork, like magic, I mean, for the frame or the bed is completely solid now with no bowing whatsoever. So I would say it's probably safe to assume that from the pressure of these wheels on the 2020 or 2040 V-slot extrusions over the course of 6 months of pretty heavy printing wore down pretty significantly to the point where I wasn't able to get a super tight grip at all anymore. So once I put these on, I thought, okay, cool, that's one of the big issues that I was having. Now we've got a solid frame. But the issue was with the BlTouch, which is no longer on my Ender 3. I went back to a mechanical end stop. The BlTouch was just not and has not been working correctly. So mechanically speaking, the probe deployed and went back in. It did everything like it always did. I had a 3x3 grid going. But when it came time to actually take that information and compensate it or correct it when printing, the left side of the bed would be way too low and the right side of the bed would be way too high. So it would basically print in the air on this side and then dig into the bed on the other side. And I spent weeks when I had spare time here and there trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I tried things like different leveling methods. I think I was using bilinear originally. I tried a 5x5 grid, which is 25 points, which is a lot for a small bed, thinking maybe that would do it. I tried glass plate because I figured that maybe a glass plate, maybe there was some issues with the bed being too skewed, but with a 5x5 grid, it should have been able to probably compensate for that anyways. But I was unable to figure it out. And I started doing a lot of Googling one night. I was up for about 2.5 hours just searching forums, like, you know, just different Google keywords like BlTouch or auto bed leveling, lower on one side and higher on the other, or auto bed leveling not compensating type thing. And I am at a loss. I don't really know what the deal is. And the strange thing to me is, more than anything, is that it worked beautifully for 6 months. And then I moved, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Like, I just cannot get it to work. So, I mean, I could swap out the BlTouch, but I really don't think it's the BlTouch. I did start, when I was looking into the forums that one night, I did see a lot of talk of something to do with the X carriage or the X axis in general somehow being skewed, and due to how it was skewed, the BlTouch was getting sort of like inaccurate readings, and it was in turn unable to compensate correctly for it. But again, that's what I saw, and it just got to the point where after so many hours of trying these different things, I just kind of said, to hell with it. Like, auto bed leveling was really nice for the 6 months that it worked, but I don't know whether in shipping, you know, when I moved this thing in the U-Haul, something hit it and skewed something. But all I know is that the BlTouch goes down and was deploying like it always should have, but the actual compensation method, or the adjusting and taking that data back and actually doing something with it, was not working. And so I'm officially back to mechanical. I'm not saying again that it's the BlTouch's fault, and I'm not saying that I won't use the BlTouch again, but for the sake of this, I needed a 3D printer to be up and running so that way I can work on some of my other printers. Like, to me, this is more valuable on something like the CR10 with a larger bed plate. The Ender 3 only has a 9x9 bed, so to me it's not very hard to manually level, so it's really not a big deal. But it was really interesting. It was a really frustrating month or so of just trying to figure out, like, you know, you were fine when we left, and now you've got all sorts of problems. And when I put it back together last night, or this morning actually, not long ago before recording this, I was also getting max temp errors, and so the thermistor was doing something really wonky, so I had to swap that out as well. But it's just kind of funny how the machine has been working so well for so long, and then out of nowhere, like, everything decides to just shit out at once. But the Ender 3 is back and live. I printed out, it's in the bathroom actually, but a little fill, 3D fill, just to test it out. So I'm back in business, and hopefully I will start printing out some parts in likely PETG for the Zone Star to convert it to a single extrusion, as well as for the AlphaWise U20. So that's what's been going on. That is why there's really not been a lot of printing stuff. It's because I've been so busy with the troubleshooting. I do have something really cool that I printed on the Ender 3 though, with the micro Swiss, that I will likely show you guys coming up here in the next few weeks in a video. So hope you guys are all doing well. I think that this will be the last video before Christmas, so I hope you guys have an awesome Christmas and a happy and safe New Year's. And thank you so much for another really awesome year. The channel has grown a ton, and there's a lot of new people and a lot of really great stuff going on. So I thank you again, always, all of you, for coming back and watching videos year after year and video after video. So on that note, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video, and I am out. Peace, guys.